Game on.
Hey there, game gurus. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about, well, not exactly this. This is a Coleco tabletop game from 1982. This one is Donkey Kong. Coleco made a couple of these, and the shape is pretty iconic. It's been around a long time, and people do seem to like it. They had Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaxian, Frogger, a few others, but there was some that were supposed to come out they didn't make, and that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. Now, Coleco was not Coleco anymore. Coleco is long gone, but someone did buy the IP, and they've been coming out with these new versions of some. I think the last Kickstarter they did that was Rainbow Bright and Robotech. I didn't back that Kickstarter, but I did buy the Robotech. I actually bought two. That's what I do, because I got a good deal on it. So I waited for the deal, and they just had another Kickstarter for Berserk and Frenzy. Now, two of the machines that didn't come out, but Coleco was going to release before the video game crash of 1983, was Berserk and Omega Race. But at least Coleco is coming out with, well, again, people who own the IP, had a Kickstarter to do Berserk and Frenzy. Again, I didn't back the Kickstarter, but I waited a little bit, and I'm kind of glad I did. They ran into some issues with the screen, which we'll look at that in a minute. But also, they did come out with a fix, so kudos to them. So let's take a quick look at the Coleco Frenzy and Berserk that just came out. Because remember, New Wave Toys is coming out with arcade recreations of Berserk and Frenzy. I expect that in another day or two. They should be here. Now, my understanding is that the Coleco version is not the arcade ROM. It is actually an NES, a game that someone created for these machines. But let's go take a look. I'm going to put this little guy down. This guy is still working after all these years, 1982. We're now in 2024. So this old technology is still pretty good. But let's take a look now at this new Berserk and Frenzy from Coleco. See what the problem is. And let's see if they took care of it. Again, I got them on eBay. I got a really good deal. I offered them $55. I think they wanted $69 plus $12 shipping. I offered them $55 and they accepted it. I think $55 for Berserk and Frenzy and this kind of form factor is worth it to me because Berserk was supposed to be released, never was. It's also added to the collection. But let's stop, get over there, take a look, and see what we need to do to fix it. Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to try something a little bit different here. Again, my basement is not finished, and I'm just kind of starting to put stuff back down here. So I kind of G-rigged a little setup right here. See how it works out. So again, we have the original little Donkey Kong. You can see right here. You can see that nice little beautiful VFD screen. So VFDs are really not manufactured anymore, so you're really not going to see that pretty much anymore. Put this down over here for a second. Get it out of the way. Put it over so you can kind of see it over there. There we go. And they're very expensive to make. So it's going to be obviously LCDs in this new machine. But let's take a look. Here's the box that it came in right here. So again, they got this off of eBay. It was not on their Kickstarter. $55 shipped. Everything looked like was okay, but I did have an impact right there. And it did damage my Berserk box. I'm not happy about that. I mean, nothing I do about it, but it's not the fault of them. It was probably my mail carrier that did it. But here we are. We have Berserk and Frenzy. Let's get these out of here. And again, let's get this out as best we can. Try not to break everything. You know me. Saving boxes and all that other good stuff. I'll put this thing out of the way. And let's just take a look at these at face value right now, right here. Let's see what we do with this camera right here is pretty good. So you can see right here, my box did take a little impact right there. Not happy, but I did take some red marker and black. I tried to fix as best I could, but it's just me. I'm a little crazy. But the box does look pretty nice. And, the original ones, like these guys right here, if you can get them in a box, I mean, you're talking hundreds of dollars. This I got pretty inexpensive, got lucky. These go for over $100 nowadays working, but the boxes are going to raise the price right up, and the boxes tend to fall apart because they're so old. So it's kind of neat to have, the boxes for these guys. Put it over like this, like so. And we'll take a look at Berserk first and then Frenzy. Now again, for the $55 I got this off of eBay for, they said they came with the boards, but you got to put the boards in by yourself. I have no problem doing that. I love opening these things up, so I'm fine with that. I'm going to move the Frenzy aside for just a moment. And we're just going to make Berserk right now the center stage. And again, the box looks pretty good. I mean, it doesn't feel like the strongest cardboard, but that's okay. Make sure it's in this camera pretty good. It's good enough, and it does remind me of the boxes, how they were back in the 80s for all the other versions. Again, probably that happened in the 80s too. But I think they did a pretty nice job. Oh, it's the Revival series. That's all. So it's called the Coleco Revival series. You can see it right there. And, you know, I'm still kind of glad they made these. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Rainbow Bright, obviously. But they probably wanted to get the girls involved a little bit with nostalgia with that. But the Robotech one, again, the game it's an okay game. Nothing great. But I do like Robotech. So I was okay buying that. This one right here, though, was an unreleased game that they were going to release in a VFD format. This is going to be an LCD. But in any case, let's take a look and see what we have in here. See if I get in this box again. I did open the box already. I want to see what was in here. But again, I think they did a real nice job with the packaging. I mean, this was a Kickstarter. They did a nice job. And here it is, the replacement PCB right here. I believe it's marked. Now, when I got these, they were just loose, both these loose in the Frenzy box. It wasn't done very well. They actually fell out of this. It was just loose, knocking around in there. Fortunately, I don't think anything got damaged. But at least they are marked. Like this one does say Berserk right there. So we have this board. Put that aside for a second. And what else we got in here? We have, well, our instruction manual, which is always good. Having the good old instruction manual right there. And, you know, it's not a lot of information here. It's just enough. Again, you didn't really get much back in the day either. So I'm actually okay with that. And, of course, we have a piece of plastic protecting the top. And here is our machine. And they also come, obviously, with a, you know, little, I think it's a USB micro to USB-A cable. Wait, I didn't want to drop it in there like that. Yes, it is. Okay, we'll move this box aside for a second. Just get it out of the way. Put the stuff out of the way. Make it look nice and pretty. There we go. Just put that over there. So, first impressions, this has batteries in it right now. This one right here has got batteries in it. This one does not. But you can see, overall, they look pretty good. They got good rubber feet on it. Now, this is lighter because there's no batteries in it. You can put batteries in it. I think it uses just AA's for them. Well, this uses 4C batteries. But you can see how large the screen is on this one. You can see how the size of that screen right there over my shoulder, just like that. And you can see now they're using an LCD, but it's a small 2.5-inch screen. Now, they could have went bigger, honestly. Screens, I can tell you, being I manufacture my own, are really not the big a price difference. They could have went with a larger screen. However, they did not. But in looking at them side by side, this one is a little bit taller. You can see right here, this sits down a little bit lower. Overall, not too bad. But when you look at it side to side, they are not the same height. But again, looking at them as a general, you can see maybe a little more right there. There's maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch difference. Nothing crazy. And also there's a volume control on the front over here. You can see over my shoulder. In-string video, I know. And there's a headphone jack. So that's kind of a nice thing on there. Now, these buttons here are left over from when they did the Robotech and Rainbow Bright. I get it to save costs, but Berserk should have just been one button, to be quite honest. But if you plan on modding these, putting a Raspberry Pi in here or GRS Viper, you can do that too. The 4 buttons might be more beneficial. But I think there's a cover protector on here. People are complaining about, you can see, I'll get real close on that right here. There's like a little, maybe see on this camera right here. I got so many cameras. Let's see if I get it over this. Nope, this way. There we go. You can see on the buttons right there. It's like little lines. I think this is a protective cover that comes off. I'll try it out later. I'm not going to peel it off right now. But overall, I think that this machine looks pretty nice. I'm going to drive you guys crazy with these different cameras. I am sorry. Trying something new. But, you know, the weight feels okay. The plastic feels okay. I mean, these, I think, these days have gotten a lot more brittle. But it's also, like, you know, 40 years old. That's to be expected. So I think overall, these are pretty nice. The color is more of like a burgundy red, which is okay. The box makes it look pretty good. But I think this looks pretty good. Now, there's one thing on the back here for your power, which is your micro USB for power. But that's it. So I'm going to plug this thing in. Of course, I didn't get power ready. Of course not. So get this thing plugged in, get some power, and kind of see how it looks. Can I get power from over here? Maybe I can. Maybe I can do this right from here. Let's find out if I can steal power from my laptop over here. Maybe I can. And I'm going to plug this in over here. If I can see this jack. Okay, so we'll plug it in right there, and I'm going to turn this thing on. It's right here. So I'll put it on my shoulder so you guys got to see it. And on. So it's a coin detected in pocket, which again, is kind of cool. They put speech in this. There is a volume knob right here. Now here's the problem right here. If you look really close, you can see the border down here, here, but you can't see the border on this side, and that's the problem. Berserk and Frenzy, they obviously did not check the ROM before they shipped this out, and it made it pretty much unplayable because you can't escape on this side. You can't see where it is. So that's what this board fixes. That's all this board fixes. This whole board is just going to fix that to where the border is off the screen. But again, it's a very basic game, Berserk and Frenzy, so an NES should be able to more or less handle it. I'm going to try it real quick, and let's just see how the game plays. I'll do it with my shoulder, which I've been kind of doing here. Let's see how we start this here. Here we go. The joystick feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That feels pretty good. The buttons, also, they're okay. Again, nothing crazy, but I think for what this is supposed to be, it's supposed to be this. I think this is pretty neat. I gotta get away from Otto before he kills me. So again, the game is playable as long as you don't try to escape from the left. And there are times where you may have to escape from the left. So I can see why a lot of people back to Kickstarter were kind of upset. But I think overall, this thing plays pretty well. I mean, it looks the part. Again, it's a simple game. I think the speech could have been a little bit louder. But again, nothing bad. As I die. Speaker is actually right there. So overall, it's really not too bad. I mean, it's okay. But this is something they should have checked. I think that hurt them a little bit when people started getting these. Like if I go over this way, I got lucky. I found a door on that side. And now you see on that side here. So the fact that you can't see that wall is a bit of a problem. And again, you have all these extra buttons. I'll see if they all shoot or not. I don't know. Oh, the game is over. Well, we're not going to do any more with it. So we're going to turn this thing off. And I'm going to unplug it. And I'm going to say once again, looking at them both, they actually did a nice job. You look all the way around this on here and look at the back on this one. They did a nice job. The one thing I will say is that pretty much all of these, the bottom was black on all of these, where they're the same color on this one. So that kind of makes them stand out a little bit. But you know what? Overall, that's not a problem. Now, I will say something else here. When I want to open these little bad boys up, these are a little destructive. You need to peel this decal off because there's two screws literally right here. So you have to destroy this artwork to get to those two screws. And then you got to get all these screws. There's screws under here. It's a bit of a pain to get all this thing apart to repair it. Generally, you're going to destroy this artwork. Fortunately, I didn't have to take this open to that point. Everything you see is working. My understanding on this guy right here, there is not a problem with that. This guy right here just has, I think just screw there, and screw there. And we're going to find out if I have a screwdriver that'll fit the bill. Let's see. Of course, this one's going to be too big. That's no good. See if this one fits. Well, the big thing now is to find a screwdriver that'll actually fit in the hole. This one just may fit. Okay. So I'm going to turn this carefully because I hate stripping screws. And it does happen. These plastics, who knows how strong they are. And you don't want to strip it out. We're going to go very carefully and open this Coleco Revival Series Berserk. Surprisingly, or not, made in China. But it's one of the things where you would think when you're working on something like this, you really would have checked to make sure everything was right. So there is one screw right here. Let me get down in the camera. There's one screw right here, and then there are two hidden under the shroud. So if that's all this takes to open this up, I'll be happy because, again, like I said, the original Colecos were a lot more damaging to the artwork and everything else. So, yeah, I don't want to strip the screw. It feels like it is. I don't want to do that. So even if you didn't want to play these particular ROMs in here, my friend Neil Henry, who's over at the Old Made New forum on Facebook, will actually take these. I don't know. I think he charges $300. Don't hold me to that. but he will convert it to a Raspberry Pi, I think a 3.5-inch beautiful IPS screen. He'll put the arcade ROM, you know, Berserk, Frenzy on there, and lots of other games you can play. So, and if you did have this and you weren't happy with it, it's worth it to send over to Neil. And actually, you only have to send him this piece right here, actually the inside board. None of the rest of this has to go. None of the shell has to go. Just literally the PCB part, and he will make the modifications and send that back to you. I want to strip this screw. Oh, please don't strip the screw. Don't want to strip the screw. And I'm hoping, again, just these three are going to do it. I don't know if I got to peel the feet off or not. There was no directions here to tell you how to take this apart. It's almost out. Okay, so I got the screws out. And put that down. And yeah, they look okay. Now, can I open it? Oh, it looks like I can. Okay, so lifting up from here, and it's being held by these little clips here in the back. So it's got to be careful, I guess. Just presses in a little bit. And I should be able to get it right out. Sometimes. Okay, maybe not so easy after all. These are definitely the only screws you got to take out, I think. But I don't want to break it. It's hooked in there pretty good. There we go. You just have to be careful because you can see there are, it looks like the battery compartment and the charging circuit right there. Yep. You can see right there. So we got to disconnect these and make sure, obviously, they go back in the right spot. So I'm going to pull this guy off here. It's a battery. Put that to the side for a second. So again, you can see that piece. You do not have to send this. Don't have to send this to Neil Henry. This goes put away, and this doesn't have to go. It's literally just this piece right here. You send to him to modify it. But and looking at this right here, get close to you guys over here. We have looks like a couple screws and these two guys right here, and then battery and the on-off switch. So it doesn't look too difficult to do. I'm going to put this down in this because, you know, I don't want to scratch anything. I probably should have put some foam down beforehand, but I didn't. But put it down just like that. You guys, I think, can still see. I'll get over a little bit, like that. And we have our speaker. We have our cable to the controllers. We have our screen. And then, like I said, just battery and switch. So it looks fairly easy. So we're just going to undo this. It's a ZIF, or zero insertion force. So we'll just do that and pull this out and get it out of the way. And it looks like the same thing for this one right here. This one is a little bit harder to get in. See if I can use this screwdriver to help me out. There we go. That cable came out. And then the speaker. And this poor little PCB was made just for this, and his life was cut so short because of bad programming and no way to update the firmware. But again, this thing was probably made, you know, as inexpensive as possible. So we're going to undo these screws. And again, be very careful taking these out and putting them back in. These things do tend to strip. These type of plastics will strip. Now, if it does strip, you can probably put a little, crazy glue, drop of crazy glue or something in there to fix the hole. But again, the plastic does feel a little bit on the brittle side, if you will. And I was trying, I'm a little nuts. I try and put the screws back in the exact same spots that I took them out of. Let's go over here. Okay, so once that's done, we're just going to lift out this PCB, and that's it. So here's our original one right here, and we'll put that aside. Probably keep it with it just for prosperity. And here is our new fixed board, and we're going to put this thing right back in, make sure we have the speaker in the right spot and all our cables. I'm going to pre-pull out my controller and screen ZIF socket. So they're ready to go. And I'm going to slide this thing back in. And I'm probably going to try and put the, maybe I'll just do it this way. I'll put the screws in. So it kind of holds itself. There's a little spot that's holding it in position. And I'm just going to very carefully put my screws back in. And I'm only going to make them, finger tight when I put them in. Because these things, again, can strip fairly easily. We don't want to do that. I'm not happy with the screwdriver though. It feels like it's stripping it out. I don't want to do that. See if the screwdriver does it better. Nope, this one's too big. Try this one. That feels better. You want to make sure you get the right screwdriver so you don't strip anything out. And I'm not going to put them all the way down until I get all 4 screws in, just to make sure it goes in properly. Again, I know it may be too much precaution for a little toy like this, but it's better to be a little safe now than sorry later. And let me know in the comments down below. Am I having too many cameras right here? Is it driving you nuts? I don't know. Just trying something different. And it's going to here. Okay, I'm probably going to pick this up just so I can get these screws in better. Again, make them just hand tight. Don't over tighten it because it will split. I can pretty much guarantee you that. And it doesn't really have to be super tight, just so it doesn't move. So we'll get a better handle on that. Hopefully the board works, because if I got to do this again, who knows if this thing will strip itself out, you know, doing it multiple times. Just take your time. And as soon as you feel the resistance, you can double check if you want. But once you feel that resistance, you pretty much are good to go. Don't have to crank it down like Hulk Hogan. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is just put my speaker. Make sure you guys can see that. Can you see that? You really can't on this camera, but maybe you can see it on that camera. You can see it on that camera. Okay. Even I can't see all the cameras. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'm going to put the speaker back in. Speaker's plugged in. Make sure it's in nice and solid. The controller one is next. I'm just going to push that in here. Make sure it goes into, there's a black line. I don't know if you can see, there's a black line like right there. So put this in just to get to that point. And I'm going to have to turn this a little bit, I think, to make sure it goes in. There we go. There we go. Now it's in all the way. And then carefully, gently lock that ziff in. There it is. And now this one's going to be a little more fun. You might want tweezers or something like that to get this in here. I'll do my best. You don't want to rip, you absolutely don't want to rip the cable here to your display. Come on. Yeah, this one may have been easier to put on before I put it back in. I'm not sure, but it doesn't. It's going to fight me a little bit. I see it. Come on. There, I think I got it. There we go. Oh! He had the goal and he lost it. No. All right. Let's try that again. You do what you got to do to make it work, fellas. Yeah, I might have to get a small pair of tweezers, I think, to get this in, because it really is going in and pulling right back out. Which, again, part of the fun, figuring out how to get it in. This one has a white line, so I need to make sure it's in to the point to where the white line is lined up. Again, I don't want to break the cable, because that would really be a bummer. Oh, you suck. You suck. Oh, man. It's like I get it in the right spot, and then it doesn't want to stay. There. I think we got it this time. Perhaps. Yes. Yes! Oh! Came out again. All right. One last time. Third time's a charm. Oh, now you went right in, you little turd. I'm going to make sure you stay there. Oh! You are just evil. This cable's evil. This particular one is evil. I think next time I will try and put it in before I put it in the machine. Maybe save myself a little headache. But live and learn, folks. That's what you do. I've never had such a hard time getting one of these in before. It really is being a pain. Oh man, it really doesn't want to stay in that spot. I really don't want to break this. No! No! You suck. This is really weird. Like, you get it in the spot and it pushes itself out every time. I've never... Oh my god! I've never seen this happen before. It like spits itself out. Let's try again. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, I think I got it. It looks like it's in good enough where I may go, you know what? It was fine. It looks like it's fine. Well, I guess we're going to find out. I just won't put the screws in yet. I'm just going to plug it in and power it on and see if that works. But that little guy there was a bit of a pain to put in. So we have battery and the on and off switch. And these are different sizes, so you can't make a mistake. So that's good. Because, you know, Glenn probably would make a mistake because that's kind of what he does. That's all right. I'm going to put these things back in. 1 and 2. So, you know, it's not very difficult. The hardest part was just getting that screen cable in, which maybe I should probably put in differently. But before I close this thing up, I'm going to try and turn this thing on and see if it works before I button this whole thing back up. And of course, it's going to fall apart and break and shatter and make my life really sad. Good old USB, turn it 2 or 3 times. There we go. All right, let's see. You can see with this camera up here. Let's see if it works. Whew. It does work. And let's just see if the screen is there. Yes. Okay. So we're going to turn this thing back off. And we are going to put this together proper-like. Make sure all my cables and connections are good. And I think they are. Yep. And we'll slide the back in first to make sure that goes in. Looks like it doesn't like that either. It just doesn't want to go back together. It just doesn't. Learn from my stuff, my friends. I think I got it. Perhaps. Maybe. Aha! Sometimes you got to force it in, you know what I mean? Okay. So we're going to put our screws back in. And I got to use my screwdriver. That's a little sketchy. Carefully put this thing back in. Oh, don't want to strip that screw. I don't like when it pops out. Okay, I think. Oh, there we go. All right, that one's in. That's one. Now we got these 2 suckers. And you know, I do like the I do like this shape of these little desktop consoles. I always did. So I am kind of thankful that that the Coleco Revival series are here. I would like to see Omega Race, since that was kind of the one that Coleco was supposed to come out with to go with Berserk, more so than Frenzy. But I'm still kind of glad that I do like both those games. So okay, that one's in. And here's the last one. So again, if you get this on eBay, I'll put a link down below. I'm sure he's got quite a few left. And, offer them $50, $55. He took my 55. Maybe someone get more luck and get less. But I think 55 for both these and the boards. Just got to do a little work. It's not hard. Biggest pain was just that screen cable just did not want to stay in. Every time I put it in, it just popped out on its own. So let's get this thing all the way in here. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. A little more. And there we go. All right. So I'm going to try one level on here as best I can. Put this cable back in again. Let's see. I know you guys can see kind of over my shoulder here. Volume's up all the way. Let's turn you on. And again, not bad. It's an NES ROM. I get it, but it sounds the part. And the graphics are so simple. Even the NES can do it. So let's just try one game here. And he comes out quick and he's fast. Evil Otto. It is kind of cool having the voice in there. Ooh, nice try, Jack. And the sounds are not identical, but close enough. I mean, to be quite honest, the Atari 2600 had a good port of Berserk. There was no speech on the official release. But it looked the part, so that tells you that the graphics don't have to be anything spectacular. It's kind of really good that you can see both sides of the screen. That's kind of important. What? He's coming out too fast. Come on. Ah! Oh! Yeah, I'm a chicken. I want to live. I want to live. The AI is obviously not the same as the arcade. But again, I think it's good enough for a little tabletop Coleco nostalgia. You can't kill Evil Otto. Oh, he got me. But I'm going to say again, I think the joystick feels good. The buttons feel good enough, again, for what this is supposed to be. I think if you can get a deal on this on eBay for both and just repair it, I think that's a nice little collector's item. Can I run past these guys? Nope, I could not. One life left. Wow. So, you know, the difficulty ramps up mostly with Evil Otto. He comes out very, very fast. So this was developed by Alan McNeil. Okay, so this is a game developed by him. I think overall, it's pretty darn good. I'm going to turn this one off. We got to take a look at Frenzy next. So pull this over to the side. And we'll put you over here for a second. Move this out of the way. So again, basically, it's going to be the same thing. I mean, the box itself looks, pretty nice. Again, I never played Frenzy in the arcade. My first time playing Frenzy was actually on my ColecoVision, and the ColecoVision had a great port of Frenzy. Funny, they never did Berserk, though. Probably because Atari got the license for that. Now, the one thing I will say, New Wave Toys is coming out. I should be getting it maybe in a day or two, my New Wave Toys, Berserk and Frenzy. The one thing I'm not excited about is to have the Atari logo in there. I understand Atari purchased the rights, but to make it like it used to be, it really should have said Stern on it. And I guess that's a licensing thing. It's not their fault, but I wish it did say Stern on it. But in any case, we're probably going to have the same pretty much experience here as you did with Berserk, just a slightly different colored box, obviously. And again, we have the PCB right here, which was not like this. It was like this, loose, flying around inside the box. But we're going to put that over here. And it does, again, say Frenzy. So it is marked that this is a repaired Frenzy. And we have our manual, which is back. Let's take a piece of plastic out of the way. We have the manual for Frenzy, which looks like I bent that. But again, it's iconic heavy-duty plastic. Well, I don't know how heavy-duty it is, but it looks like it's good enough. It's got colorful art. It does a 2.5-inch screen. I think they could do different with a 3.5. They could have. Gaming chip. You don't need a powerful gaming chip. But again, it just tells you a little about the game itself. But again, I think this is pretty nice that they do this. That's fine. And we have inside here, same thing. We have our Frenzy. And I'm not going to take it out, but we have our little power cord right here. Put that back in the box. And we're going to close you up just to get you out of the way for right now. Close Sesame. Like so. And I'll put Frenzy right there. And supposedly they're making 5,000. So, kudos to them. I think it's a good number. And again, if you can kind of see this right here over my shoulder, it looks really, it does look nice. It does. I mean, here's our original, and here's the Frenzy. You can put them down. And again, it is a little bit lower. It's definitely lower, thinner this way. But other than that, I think everything else, more or less, is pretty darn close. So it's obviously not the exact same shells. Maybe they were recreations. There was a Pi score. Some guys made a 3D printer files, which I had. They can make these in 3D print them. I actually converted one of those to make my Connect board, my Megatron build that I did with the ultra wide version of this. But again, if everything feels nice, they were packed fine. My shipping guy put a hole in my Berserk box. I blame my shipping guy, not them. But I think these look really nice. Like the colors pop really nice. The buttons, again, you don't need 4 buttons for this game. Volume control, a headset, power in the back. I'm gonna take a look. I think this just uses double A's. Let's take a quick look. We'll open up Frenzy's battery compartment right here. I hate they put these screws in. That really does bug the hell out of me. Because you're only going to lose the screw. Yes, so it takes 4 AA batteries. You can see over my shoulder right there, or see it over here, where you want to see it. And not going to put batteries in it. It would have been kind of neat to have this just rechargeable. You have the micro USB connector in the back, so you could have definitely done that. But we'll put this thing back in. But I do like the color blue for Frenzy right here. I'm not happy with the screw, though. I'll tell you that right now. All right. But again, I think that's a really sharp-looking unit. It really is. And come over here. We'll go to every single camera to drive you guys nuts. But I think that looks really nice. You know, if you, back in the day, if you had something that looked a little bit like this, that would have looked pretty cool, I think. But okay, we have to fix. Well, let's take a look at Frenzy first, right? I got to take a look at it and see. Put you over here. Let's see. It's got the same problem. It's supposed to have the same problem. So let's turn you on. And it's going to be missing the left-hand side. And let's turn you on. Volume's up. And again, we have the speech. It's still also made by Alan McNeil. And the game should load any second here. And it is. So this is even harder because you can see a good part of that screen is missing over there. And you can't play the game. You may have to run left. So again, I'm really happy that they took the time to fix it. I'm sorry they had to make a whole new PCB. I'm sure this cost them a couple bucks. You know, it did. And it hurt the reputation a little bit because they didn't quality check it. But I'll play, just like before, I'll play one level here just because. Hit the start button. See, now you can't see where I can escape on this side, or if I can even escape on this side. I have no idea. I will say pulling off angles is pretty good, so that's good with the controller. Because the arcade sometimes had a hard time getting the angles. And probably the worst sound effect is their explosions. It sounds a little muffled. They have more of a type of sound in the arcade. Now, this Evil Otto can be shot, but each time you shoot him, he will come back faster and faster and faster. So I do like that they added that with Frenzy. I think you shoot him like 3 times, and you better get the hell out. This is probably the last one I could shoot. Whoa! Oh, and I shot myself! Ho-ho! Yeah, he's pretty happy about that. And they do have these walls that reflect your shots. So they definitely added to the gameplay. They improved it, for sure. I'm still more of a Berserk fan just because that was the one I played first. But the cool thing about this is I can make my own exit. I can leave anywhere I want, which I'm going to try and do right now. When I don't shoot myself. Let's try that again. See, I'm making a hole, and I can leave right in that spot. So that's kind of a neat thing if you're cornered and trapped. But now look, it made so many reflections here. I can't do that, and I can't see anything on the left. I don't know what I can do there. And auto comes out way too fast. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead! Yeah, he comes out way too fast. But okay, so we're going to do the same thing. It should be the same exact process. I'm going to turn this thing off. And we're going to pull this cord off. And we're going to remove 1, 2, 3 screws. And I need to use this screwdriver here, which again, wasn't super thrilled with using this particular screwdriver, but it's the only one that fits the hole. And it kind of has to fit the hole, right? But I'll see if I can get that video cable in a little bit easier. That was a bit of a pain in the Berserk. I kind of thought about putting it in before I put the PCB in. Like, I'll screw it in first. Probably is not the way to do it. It would have been nice if Coleco had a small little pamphlet just to kind of show you these things, because obviously I can figure this out, and probably you guys can figure it out. But there may be people who did buy this, for their grandkids, or something like that. I don't know, that really have no idea how to do it. And even when you take out these screws, it's still hard to take the cover off. So they may think there's another screw somewhere and take off all the rubber feet, but they don't have to do that. But I do appreciate them redesigning the case so that you can do this without destroying the decals in the controller area. Come on, screw. I got the screw loose. There we go. One more to go. And I will say that the plastic does feel fine. I mean, I said it feels pretty comparable to the originals. The housing is just a really nice housing. I don't know what it is, but Coleco did a really good job when they designed these tabletop machines. Still can't beat the VFDs, and in fact, if you have RetroPie or something along those lines, there is a Game & Watch module you can load, and you can play the original VFD games and LCD games in RetroPie. So if you did build one of these, like what Neil Henry does, you can still play the original VFD games if you wanted to. So again, this should lift right up, and it's just carefully prying this thing up until the back lets go. There we go. Wiggle left and right did better. So it did a little quicker this time. That's okay. So again, the battery one is a small connector, so you can't make a mistake. Just got to pull it off without breaking it. There we go. And then the batteries is the bigger one. But again, show you one more time. They are 2 different sizes. Well, you can't really see it over there, can you? They are 2 different sizes, smaller and bigger. I'll move this over to the side. Take my piece of cardboard back. And we're going to do the same thing. Just turn this thing over. And we are going to remove our speaker right here, carefully. The wires are so thin, you got to be careful. You don't want to pull too hard and bust them. And then remove the ZIF socket connector right here and pull out your controller easily. You don't want to tear your ribbon cables. And then our display, same thing. This little sucker was such a pain before. Comes out real easy, usually. There we go. And then I'm going to take out our screws. And I'm going to use my bigger screwdriver. I think for that, it was this one. And you got to realize, I do, again, take my hat off to them, because there is a good cost in having to remanufacture PCBs, and ship them out. So I am kind of glad they took the time to make sure that their people who bought them are happy. And I'm going to say, as far as everything else goes, people complaining about certain things, I think they're fine. I think the shell looks good. I think the controller and buttons felt good. And now that we're fixing the ROM, I don't mind. Again, I do not mind it's an NES ROM. Now, Neeglin, he's a different story, but he hasn't been around in a while. I don't have a problem with it, because these are not supposed to be the arcade ROM. These are supposed to be home ports of these games. That's the whole point of the VFDs. It would have been kind of neat if they recreated the game with an LCD that looked like the VFD. I mean, you can do that. It's kind of a shame they didn't do it that way. But again, you can always tear these apart, put a Viper in there or a Raspberry Pi, and load the Game & Watch module and play them. Of course, Berserk would be the arcade ROM at that point because there is no VFD version of it. But that would have been really neat. Maybe next time, maybe someone can hack these and put the Game & Watch VFDs and someone make a VFD, because I think that would be pretty neat. Now, these are not marked, so I'm going to make sure I keep these what they're supposed to be. You're going to be for you, and you're going to be for you. And I'll keep them there because I'm crazy that way. Okay, so in any case, here is our new one. I'm going to put this little bad boy in here, and again, it is marked Frenzy, as you can see in the corner. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open up both these zip sockets, but I'm going to try and put the video in first versus trying to do that nightmare I did a minute ago. Actually, it was probably like half hour. It took a while. I guess when we watch the video, I'll know. But in any case, we're going to just flip this thing up out of the way. And we're going to try and get this one in first. It just really doesn't want to go. You have to line up to the white wire. Oh, that was much easier. Yeah. Okay, I would definitely recommend that. The video one, before you put your PCB in, connect it and then put your PCB in. You'll be much happier that you did. We need to line this up with all the other holes. There we go. I'm going to put in my speaker just because. And be careful you don't break these little tiny wires. If you can avoid it, don't press on the wires. Press on the outer side of the plastic. It is small, but do your best. Use your nails. There we go. And I'm going to put in the controller one as well. That went in fairly easy last time. Come on. Because I'm going to say it now, it's not going to. Oh, you almost got you. Oh! Again, you want to be careful. You do not want to tear these suckers. There we go. There we go. He went in much, much, much easier. And lock it in place. All right, now it's just putting our screws back. So that was much less painful. So highly recommend connect the video, the DSI display, digital serial interface display, before you screw in your PCB. Then you should be okay. That was not super fun. Of course, I got the wrong screw hole first time. Of course I did. Why not? Yes. I guess I put it in the wrong hole. And we'll put these guys back in. Again, I put the 4 screws in before I start tightening it down to make sure they're all lined up. I don't want anything stripped, anything getting split. And again, hand tight. Hand tight. All right. So that was so much less painful. Oh, boy. It's like, Glenn, man, what were you thinking? What were you thinking before? Oh, so much faster. All right, again, just hand tight. Don't over tighten them. All right, we have our new Frenzy PCB in there. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to take our bottom cover back. And again, that color does look really nice. I like that color. And I do like the color of these joysticks on here. Now, I was watching John Hancock. I think he said he wasn't happy with the hole that was here because there's supposed to be a screw in there. But I think it looks okay. Maybe I'm too easy on him. I don't know. Just make sure you plug in your 2 cables here. Again, you can't get them wrong. One size goes in one, and one size goes in the other. Can't mess it up. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say. I'm sure someone can mess it up, but it's not easy. You got to really try hard to mess it up. All right. So everything's in place. I am going to test it one more time before I put the cover together, just to make sure, because you never know. Some guy has some law about that, you know, you never know. What can go wrong is going to go wrong type of thing. And then, as usual, got to do the USB turnover 1, 2, 3 to get it to fit. And there's Blue. He's barking at probably someone at the front door. I got a power light. And it's up. And is the screen fixed in this? Let's find out. And it is. Awesome. So we're going to turn this thing back off. Now, one thing I will say, on these old ones, the on-off switch is up nice and high. These, you got to really get down there to get them. I'm not sure what's up with that. But the power buttons are very recessed, and unnecessarily so. And let's see if we get this thing back in quicker and easier than before. Oh, did I have it? Did I have it and not have it? I don't know. And how do they put these in production and get this all in there like that? There we go. All right. Done. Now let's just put the screws back in with my sketchy screwdriver here. Phillips head, by the way. For the people who are really concerned about what kind it was. Just requires a lot of pressure and careful turning to not strip the head. Ooh. Keep going, Glenn. Keep going. I'm going to say I like them. I like them. So, you know, if you guys are on the fence about getting it, I think $55 for both of them. Hopefully your box doesn't get damaged. That's really bugging me that my box is damaged. I do collect these things. I think that the ROM, NES ROM, is okay for what this is supposed to be. I was never expecting the arcade ROM on this. And we'll play it a little bit. And I will say, though, I think that in the programming, Evil Auto comes out way too quick. But again, it's not supposed to be like the arcade identical. Obviously, the Donkey Kong VFD is nothing really like Donkey Kong at all of the arcade. You gotta kind of use your imagination and give things a little bit of leeway, if you will. Turn this around. Keep going. Man, one of those screws got to be so damn long. But still turning it. And now it stopped. All right. One more screw to go, and then we can actually try these out. It's going to be a long video just because I display. Almost done. Almost done. Oh, I think that's it. All right. Okay. So there we go. That was not too bad. And we have the 3 fixed. So I'm going to move the camera around so you guys can kind of see the gameplay a little bit better than right now. We'll start with Berserk. And we'll play the other ones too. Okay, we'll start off with Berserk here first. Again, we have the joystick. And I think the joystick feels pretty good. The buttons feel, again, it's okay. It's a, it's a toy that plays Berserk. It's okay. So we'll hit this now. I don't know why there's another light on here. Maybe it's for the battery. How much charge is in it? And that's just power? I don't know. I'll probably just look in the manual. Let me look real quick. What do the 2 LEDs actually mean on there versus me just guess? And this manual doesn't say anything about it in Berserk. Does it say anything in Frenzy? Tells you about the gameplay. Okay, neither manual tells you what the 2 LEDs are for. No idea. One's obviously power. So let's turn that sucker on. Except when you turn it on, know what you need? Power. Which, of course, I didn't connect. Okay, I have power hooked up right now. So I'm going to turn the switch on. I got a little power LED there. And again, I think the machine feels nice. The plastic feels pretty good. I can't complain about that. The volume is maxed out right now. In a quiet room, it's okay. The decals feel pretty good. The plastic feels good. The joystick, I think, feels pretty okay for what this is. You have all these buttons on here, and again, this is probably left over from Rainbow Bright and Robotech, so they're just using the same PCB because you don't need all this here. These start and select buttons are not going to really do anything other than start the game. Select's not going to do anything. And the manual doesn't tell you anything, so I don't know what this is. Obviously power. No idea what the red light's for. No idea. But let's start the game. Now, I will say, where I'm sitting right now, it's hard. It's very dark. So I need to kind of tilt over this to see the screen. And it looks okay. So it's not the best screen in here. But again, it's a little toy. What are you going to say? Let's try it out. Oh! Yeah, he comes out way too fast. Run, Forrest, run! Oh, come on! I was robbed. That was robbed. They robbed me. It is nice hearing that there's speech. Now, I will say, when I shoot, I am moving. In the arcade game, when you shot, you would start that again. When you shoot, the guy should not be moving. I should be able to go in any direction and stay in one spot. So that's obviously different than the arcade. That's a different play mechanic. Again, Evil Otto does come out way too fast. Oh, am I going to make it? I made it. So there's obviously some gameplay mechanics that didn't carry over the same as in the arcade. But the screen, I mean, when you look at it the right angle, the screen does what it's supposed to do. You can see everything. It's got nice colors on it. It's just that the viewing angles are not the best. See, I want to be able, I'm shooting and I can walk into a wall because I shouldn't be moving when I press the joystick down. And it's only one button. Actually, both buttons. Oh! So the X and the A will shoot, but your character still moves. So, you know, again, what do I think about the Berserk? Let me turn this thing off right here. The Berserk, I think, it's decent. It's decent. Once you fix this, once you got this guy fixed, I think he's not too bad, to be honest. I think if you like collecting these, and you get this on eBay at a good price with the PCB, I think that's pretty nice. I'm going to put this down over here, and let's try good old Frenzy. Again, basically the same game overall. And let's see if I can get this in one time. Yeah, we did. Look at that. I'm going to put this thing down, basic same spot. Again, I like the look of the machine, for sure. I think it's a nice looking machine. I do think that the power button is a little too low when compared to the Donkey Kong, but let's hit the button on there. Now, it should be the same way. When you're firing, your guy should be frozen in place so you can move your joystick around and shoot in different directions. I guess we're going to find out. Let's start it up. Nope, he still moves. Again, is that a game changer and killer? No. The viewing angle on this one seems a little bit better. Not really. Viewing angle is about the same. But I can kill Otto, at least in this one. It gives me more of a chance to kill more of these guys. Although that guy's getting, that robot got saved. How'd I go? I think the animations are fairly close, which is good. And all the important parts of the game are there. I do kind of hope the sound would have been a little bit better. But this, again, it's not horrible. I think that the programmer did a nice job overall. Again, I'm kind of blowing smoke, but I'm actually enjoying this. I like collecting these Colecos, and even though it's not Coleco back in the day, because that company is gone, the name is living on, and he's doing something good with it. Because we had the whole Coleco Chameleon fiasco. I can relook that one up. What a disaster that was, and shot myself again. Maybe that's what I get for talking about the Coleco Chameleon. One guy left. I still think that Otto comes out way too fast. That's what you get. Right in your face, buddy. Try that again. See, I shouldn't be moving. I should be standing right where I am and shooting him. I should not be moving. Ah! Come on, shoot each other. Shoot each other. Do it. Do it. Oh, they blocked me off there. Look at that. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to make my own hole if I have time. Ah! I escaped. Oh. Blue ones. I never think. Oh! Oh! Uh-oh. Don't stay there. Don't stay there. Oh! Yeah, the fact that you move when you shoot, I guess makes it more difficult. But it really shouldn't be doing that. So that if I have a negative to say about this right now, it's that when I'm shooting, I'm moving, and I shouldn't be. All right, let me give you some of my final thoughts of these Coleco. What are these called again? The Coleco Revival Series. Let me tell you what I think about the Coleco Revival Series. Okay, let's give you my final thoughts here. So, again, I got these on eBay. I got both Berserk and Frenzy for $55 plus $12 shipping with the proper fixed boards for both Berserk and Frenzy. I think overall for what they are, I think they're pretty darn nice. The boxes are well done. They're colorful. It's not the best cardboard, but it's a similar box you would have gotten back in 1982 and 1983. But they did a nice job, I think, on the packaging. The instruction manuals are very sparse. They don't tell you what the other buttons do, which they do nothing, but they should tell you that. And what the red LED does, they don't tell you that either. And the the on-off power button, I think, is a little too shallow. And the volume's a little bit low. Those are I guess, the bad things. But again, these are little toys. These are little, almost like collectibles for these original ones here that are just got so much nostalgia with these VFD screens. I am just really thankful they did come out with these. I think they're better than the Robotech and Rainbow Bright they came out with in the original Kickstarter. This is definitely much better to do. I would like to see Omega Race, because that was another one that was promised. But I think overall these are really good. If you get them $55 for both of them and shipping, the replacing the boards, you can see, was not difficult if you do it the right way. I think they're pretty nice. I know a lot of people have been giving a lot of flack on it. There are some shortcomings. But if you take it for what they are, they're supposed to simply be taking you back to 1981, 82, 83, to those type of tabletops. What I would have liked to have seen, I would have liked to have seen an option, maybe press the select button and play a VFD version of these games, and bigger screens. Those are little pet peeves. But is that worth not buying these for? I don't think so. I think this is pretty nice. This is going to be great in my collection. I'm going to definitely cherish them like everything else. But what do you think? Put some comments down below. Did you do the Kickstarter? Were you disappointed when you got them? Were you not happy it wasn't the arcade ROM, it was an NES ROM? I'm sure you were upset with the screen, but they did fix that. Did you mind opening up your machine and fixing it and putting the new board in? How do you feel about the controls and everything else? You guys let me know for a change. I want to hear what you guys have to say. You tell me, Glenn, you're right, you're wrong. I liked it, I didn't like it. Let me hear it down in the comments below. But if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It takes 1 second for you, but it means a lot to me in the YouTube algorithms. It helps me out a lot. But as much as, again, I thought the fun, I'm done with this video, I'm going to play Berserk and Frenzy right after this video. But as fun as these are, just remember, family, friends, people you know, are much more important than these games. These are fun, but don't take place of family and friends. Make sure you take a moment to tell them you love them, you miss them. Tomorrow is never promised. Relationships are not promised. People's lives are not promised. Make sure you let them know how you feel. But in between those times, game on. Are you looking for that arcade experience at home?
If you don't have the space for a full-size arcade in your house or endless funds, then you need the GRS Build-A-Cade. It's arcade quality without the arcade price, from someone you can trust. The GRS Build-A-Cade is a very simple, easy to assemble 1/6 scale arcade computer you can build yourself. You can buy interchangeable controllers for every gaming option you need to play the games the way they're meant to be played. You can also design your own artwork or purchase artwork separately to make your GRS Build-A-Cade look like the machine of your dreams. The GRS Build-A-Cade is also the only home system STEM certified. Come see what all the YouTube creators are raving about. GRS Build-A-Cade.
Game on.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.